how to fix your mindset. I would say fixed because you're not broken. There is nothing to fix. What I mean by that is you haven't cracked your head off the pavement and broken your skull and brain. So there's nothing really to fix. Oh, you have done that. That's a different story. I've done that. That's not nice. It does hurt and don't recommend it. But when we're talking about mindset and the way we approach challenges, the way we approach life, the way we approach business, the way we approach our health, then there's nothing to fix. So what do we do then? Well, the first thing is we've got to understand, like, what is mindset? Because a lot of people talk about mindset, but what is mindset? Mindset can be defined or put in a really simple way, which is just basically your thoughts. It's how you perceive the world. It's how you perceive challenges. It's how you perceive yourself. It's basically everything that you think up here. And here's the beautiful part. All of this can be changed. So when we say fixed, let's reframe that and let's call it an upgrade. Because then when we upgrade our mindset, then we can achieve the things we want to achieve. Say we want to lose weight. We want to create a business that actually serves our life and doesn't take over our life. Then we can then upgrade our mindset to think a different way. But here's the thing, like your brain is influenced by a lot of different things. For example, there's external things going on outside which influence how you think. There's a lot of chemicals going on inside your brain which changes the way that you think. I'm going to give you an example of this. I'll tell you a story about one of my clients. Let's call him John. It's not called John, but just for anonymity purposes. So John came to me, it was a while ago now, and he was about 4 or 5 stone overweight. He was at a point of desperation, and his mindset then, or the way that he thought, was, I need to get rid of this weight. So that's when he came to me, wanted to get rid of this 4 stone that he was carrying. Now, when he first came, he was full of dopamine. He was full of motivation because we had a talk, we had a chat, and told him it was possible, told him how we were going to do it. So we gave him everything that he needed to get started. Dopamine is a very important molecule in the brain to actually get you motivated to pursue that hard thing, lose weight, build a business, whatever that is. That hard thing, you need dopamine. So when John came, he was full of dopamine. And this dopamine kind of lasted for quite a while, started losing some weight. So that continued, that dopamine release kept on going because he was losing weight. But then inevitably, it starts to get hard. And when it starts to get hard and results start to slow down, then you kind of lose motivation. Then your mindset changes, as did John's. So John stopped turning up for sessions. John stopped doing the things I was asking him to do. Then he kept using language like, oh, I can't do this. I have this event. I had this on. I have that on. There was always an excuse. And that's what mindset is because it's how you're perceiving that situation. Basically what John had done, John had put his mind in a fixed way of thinking. It almost made himself an excuse not to do it. Inevitably, John gave up and put more weight on than what he started with. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, well, you're a personal trainer. Shouldn't you have got him results? No. Personal trainers and coaches don't get the results. It's the clients that get the results, but the clients have to want to do it. This is where mindset comes into it. So a lot of people think, well, I'll just pay for a personal trainer and I will lose weight. It doesn't work like that. Because that person, whether that's you, yourself, or maybe your friend, whatever, that person has to be ready to change. And that's where mindset comes in. And you have to be in that stage of readiness. You're ready to go ahead and do the hard work. And for a lot of people, that is the most difficult part. So how do you get yourself ready? How do you get yourself into a position where you are no longer thinking or a fixed mindset and you can actually go towards a growth mindset? So what is the difference? A fixed mindset is where you think in linear. It's kind of black and white. And generally it comes things like, I can't do that. I'm too old. The world's against us. I don't have the right tools. Whatever that is. There's always an excuse. There's always a limitation. It's always a negative thought. A growth mindset, on the other hand, is having a bit more of a open mind, holistic approach and thinking, well, there's a solution to every problem. I can find that answer, or I can try my best, or I can find the right person to help me achieve that thing, weight loss, business goal. So when we're talking about mindset, it's about changing the way that we think. So how do we do that? Well, my first recommendation is to read this book, Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck. This is a classic. Dr. Carol Dweck was the first person to coin the growth and fixed mindset. If you read that book, it's an absolutely incredible book. I've read this a few times, and although it's quite old, it sets the stage to what mindset actually is. Number two is really, really simple. Just choose to have a fixed or growth mindset. So fixed mindset, like we said before, it's just very linear way of thinking, very negatively. Can't do this. This is not for me. I don't have the right tools. I'm not in the right environment. All of these negative thoughts are create limitations in your brain. A growth mindset is a way to actually explore opportunities and find solutions to problems by thinking differently and thinking of, how do I solve that problem? Where do I find those tools? Where do I find the right person? You open up questions to your brain to then find the solution. So choose which one you want to be. Do I want to be a fixed mindset, or do I want a growth mindset? Now, the third thing is, you've got to practice a growth mindset. It doesn't just come by thinking. You actually have to put this into practice. You've got to take action on this. So how do you take action? The first thing is to assess your own narrative. What kind of language are you using? Are you using like disempowering language, like we said before, I can't, it's too hard? You could either write these things down. I journal, I look to journal, I think it's great. And oftentimes I'll write things down and go, wow, that was such a negative thought. Now, if I'm thinking that thought and I don't actually assess that thought, that can then become poison to my brain. But because I've written it down, I can then look at it and go, yeah, I need to change that. The second thing is, and this is absolutely amazing, listen to other people's narratives. Okay. Just listen to people's conversations. Sit and listen to the types of language they're using. What you'll find is you start picking patterns up. So when you're sat and you're listening to other people's narratives, you start picking up on their disempowering language, and you can start reframing that and going, oh, wow, is that the kind of things that I normally say? Are they the kind of things that other people hear me say? When you listen to other people, you will realize how many people around you actually have a fixed mindset. And finally, remember, you're not broken. Nothing needs fixing. All we're doing here is just giving you a simple upgrade. And this isn't just a case of a 6-week thing that you're going to get a massive upgrade in 6 weeks. This is a lifelong process, starting from today. So the next time you think, I need to fix my brain, you don't need to fix anything. You just need to start upgrading the system. I'm just going to say, I do have a program available. It's called the NC90, which is Neuroconditioning 90. So it's a 90-day program to help guys over 40 to lose weight, improve their energy, and think a little bit differently.